Hey guys, so recently I've started reading this book called The Nolan Variations, which talks about how this writer director Christopher Nolan deals with his movies, how what is his process of writing and forming a structure, and like basically what goes on in his mind. Like it's a detailed series of interviews about Chris Nolan, and I thought that why not after reading it I just write something about it and I just put it out there in a video format as a video lesson for me. So yeah, let's go. So it starts with introduction, and the introduction actually starts with a story. It's a story of a man who wakes up in a room, and the room is completely dark. Like he wakes up and he can't even see his hands. So he slowly gets up, feeling his body, and he touches the sides of the bed, gets off the bed, gets on his foot. He doesn't know what is all there in the room, like which object is where, the table is where. So he creeps very slowly and gets towards the wall. He's trying to find the light switch to illuminate the room. So he touches the walls with plasters on it, and like it's a very detailed story of about the space of the room. And then he finally, after some time, he finally finds the switch. And when he turns the switch on, he finds that the person finds that he doesn't exist. The person finds that he doesn't exist. Like he is a hypothetical figure. Right. This is a story written by a German philosopher called Immanuel Kant. And in this story, Kant wants us to tell us that our perception of space, he wanted to question this, that our perception of space is what is something out there or something that is in here. Like, how do we perceive space? So, the reason that this introduction starts with this story of Immanuel Kant is relevant because, like, as we know more about Kant, we know that he lived in a world where the telescope was recently discovered. So, like, this capability of seeing deep into space was very recent thing, and then there were hot air balloons that was there. So, map makers would go up in the sky and learn about meteorology and cloud formations and stuff like that. So it was an era where everything was about space in some form or the other. So that so in a creator's head, that's what was going on all the time. And that's why Kant was able to write or did write a story like this, discussing the metaphysical form of space around him. Now this is relevant because we see that technological advances were being made in areas of space at the time of Immanuel Kant. But in Nolan's time, there were also very significant technical advances. For example, the internet happened when Nolan was making his films, growing up and making his films. So what the internet did was what the internet did was it. So the human connection was no longer limited by space. Time was the new metric for any group of people to connect. This is when people started to see subjectivity of time. For example, a cricket match that you are seeing on your screen, maybe live or maybe not. The person you are speaking to, I am not live. A person you are speaking to maybe in a different time zone. So time is subjective for everyone, and this is a scenario where Christopher Nolan was this was a world that he lived in. So it's very natural that he was influenced by it, and a lot of his films have time as a core. Because time is twisted and turned. Nolan's movies start with a very simple scene, like a man waking up from a dream, just like the hypothetical man in Emmanuel's story. But then the story turns out to be a complete epic in another way. Like there are non-linear storytelling, and there's a different point of view of every character. It's very subjective storytelling, and this is what makes Nolan's movies so great. Nolan's movies are like very easy to enter, but very difficult to exit. Once, even when you exit the screen or the theater, they keep on playing in your mind. back and back. You just can't get out of there. You just keep thinking about it, discussing about it, ideas with your friends. It's like Inception is like a germ in your mind